It's June on the coast of Portugal, and the waves have just swallowed me into the ocean. One moment I panic, I'm disoriented, and then with a kick I come back to the surface and I spit out salt water. I laugh and I look back to the beach where my partner of 3 years is playing with the dog. We've been on the road for 2 weeks. We are going on an interrail trip across Europe because we got an amazing deal, and I have a lot of free time because the company I was working for just went under. Things between him and I have been a little bit complicated, and this trip was really there to bond us back together. And here in Lisbon, I just marvel at how much adventure we've brought into each other's lives. And he's really become my lighthouse in an ocean of chaos. And I know that no matter how dark the water gets, he'll always bring me back to shore. Underwater, it's cold and dark, and sometimes things are lurking beneath the surface. 2 days later, I'm standing in my bath towel right after my shower when he tells me that he doesn't have feelings for me anymore, and that he will take the train back to Berlin to our flat that very night. I'm stunned. I don't get it. Temperature lowers in the room. I ask if he wants to break up, and he says yes. It feels like drowning, and I do whatever I can to keep afloat. I look at him for comfort, for anything, but he just lies there prostrate, in tears, facing the spectacle I am making of myself. Because for hours I cry and I argue and I plead, but his mind is made up. He leaves. Underwater, it is cold and dark, and I am sinking. I don't sleep that night, I stay awake. Everything is a blur. The only coherent thought I can make is to go back to Paris, to my parents' house. I go to the train station and I am shaking. The lady at the counter, when she tells me that all the tickets are sold out for today, I just can't hold it. I just start crying, which has for effect that she miraculously finds me a ticket. It takes me 3 days to cross Portugal, Spain, and France. Under the water, it is cold and dark, and I can barely feel the heat wave in Paris. My parents are so sweet, but I can see fear in their faces. I have barely slept or eaten in days, so I make an effort. The wall of numbness kind of fades out, and after a while, I'm no longer lost. I could go back to Berlin, but So I have 2 more months on my interrail pass. I'm just gonna keep going, I guess. Underwater, it is cold and dark, and the coolness is a relief against the sun of the Italian sky. Because of course I chose to go to Italy, to the Lake Como in the north of the country. I've always wanted to go there, because I've seen the movie Call Me By Your Name. And the beauty of that summer romance seemed to me like it would be the perfect ironic destination. I am not rubbing salt into the wounds. I am cauterizing it with sun and Aperol spritz and fantasies about being a world-renowned writer strolling about in a white linen pantsuit. Under the water, it is cold and dark, but I am kicking my feet. After Como, I keep going, and it feels like I'm never going to stop. I walk 15 to 20 kilometers a day. I hop from city to city, from hostel to hostel. I'm still not eating much, but I'm swallowing kilometers and buildings and historical landmarks, because every step that I take is bringing me further away from that day. I read at that time each book in 2 or 3 days. I buy new books in every city. I see Prague, Vienna, Copenhagen, Stockholm. I don't know if I feel alive yet, but I'm trying my damn hardest. underwater, it is cold and dark, especially in Finland, where I end my travel, near the Dyane lake, which is the longest lake in the country, where my family has a small house. It's got no running water, barely any electricity. The sun is out all the time. And when I arrive there, I am so exhausted. My back is strengthened from the backpacking and my skin is tanned and I sleep. I finally sleep for so long and I feel like I'm getting back into myself and I'm finding new joys in going to get wild mushrooms and blueberries and swimming and hiking and just being with me. Underwater, it is cold and dark, but now I am keeping my head above sea level. And when I land in Berlin, I'm not the same person who left months ago. And when I see him again, I'm not the same person he left months ago. And even if I spent weeks underwater and now there's a piece of my heart forever somewhere on the ocean floor, I kind of feel like I made it back to shore and I made it back to me. So I guess this story is to say that it's okay to lose the love someone has for you. And it's also okay to find love for yourself. And there are Groupons to go to Lake Como. So that's it.